Hi everyone, I'm Olexandra Dmytrenko, and today we shall speak about some stuff about the kids. I'm Java developer at a big outsourcing company, and at some point we realized that we want something more. We don't want just to do the development, we want something also for our kids. So we decided to start doing the lessons where the teachers would be people who work at the company, and students at first would be the kids of the employees. It's already 4 years we have this program, and currently we have so many kids that it's enough to have this collection of new applicants during 1 week, and we stop it like 1 week, even though we planned it for 2. We also started taking kids from other families because our classes get so successful. So here I am to share some knowledge, some experience, how to teach the kids and how to make them happy. And before that, I would like to propose you to think about one thing. You see the picture of a little boy and a dog? They're connected with leash. The boy is pretty weak and he is willing to hold the leash. The dog is very strong and he is willing to run. Your task is to make them both happy, but to keep control over the situation, everyone not to fall and be safe. I will give you an answer on this question, like how I managed to do it in the end of the presentation. So for now you can think of that and just collect the ideas. So today I will tell you about how to manage kids of different age, from which age it will be good to start teaching your kid to program, and we'll make a little demo with this beautiful robot. This is BB-8 robot from the Star Wars. So when it's better to start teaching the programming? When your kid is so little that he is crawling to your laps while you sit at the computer, he comes to you and he asks, "Daddy, what do you do? I also want to see and to help you." It is very good, but when the kid is 3, you are afraid of his help. So it's probably not the age when you have to start teaching the programming. When your kid becomes a little older, he's, let's say, 6, he comes to you and he is happy that he can communicate, he can see what is going on with you, and he is willing to know what you are doing. But when he sees that his little brother throws a ball to him, he says, "Okay, Daddy, I will run get the ball. So see you later." And you again you are not able to explain the programming to him well. And when the kid is a bit older, when he is already 13, he comes to you, he sees that you're doing something special, and he realizes that actually the special you're doing can be his special, because it is so easy to get knowledge from you. And this something could make him also unique in his school. So when he comes to school, he will be very unusual, he will be a star, and that's why this is the time to explain the programming to your kid, because he is eager to listen and he will accept what you say. And when your kid is already finishing his high school, he would better have already tried what the programming is, because he is on the stage when he is to choose his future profession. So he'd better try before 17 what the programming is, to understand what he is, where he belongs to. And so to sum it up, I have been speaking also with psychologists about this subject, and they advise to start teaching programming from around 8 years, not before. Thing is that during the first 7 years, our mind is being formed. We learn how the water flows, how the fire burns, and what is the final dot of the temper of your parent. How it is to communicate with other people, how to develop the imagination. And so during these years, you'd better not teach something that would be binding the imagination of a person, because actually programming is more like binary. It's either true or false, and this is how you build the flow. So what you have to do before kid is 7 is to develop his imagination using even chess if you want to teach him logics, but better not programming. And then when the mind is formed, the logic starts being forming from 7 years, from 7 to 9, this is a period. So you can already start, this is a good time. Still, what I have noticed by having different ages of kids and watching how they prepare the projects for the competition of Scratch, I saw that if the kid was 9 years old, like we had groups of kids, by 3 kids were divided, and the trainer. So when these kids were presenting their projects, it was obvious that it was the tutor who made the project. Kids were like helping him, they were giving some ideas, but they were not actually programming seriously. But when the kids were 10 and older, they already could present something sufficient, which they could explain by themselves. So they started understanding the programming better. But still, if you want to teach your kid to program from 8 years or from 7 years, I'll give you some advice. These kids are really eager to be active, to play actor games, to pretend that they are someone. And what is good is they can concentrate their mind for some periods of time, which is like 20 minutes. So if you want to give some information, you would better prepare the sets of 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and then you do the breaks. So what you can do is to prepare a game which would be connecting the programming world with the physical world. And sometimes it is like, we often say that programming is actually, like, or the program works, we don't know how. This is magic, how the program works. And this could be actually the first point, how you start doing the program with your kid. You can come up with a story, like a pirate story, if your kid is fond of pirates. So what we have done is there was an enchantress who gave a BB-8 robot to the kids. She told them how it works. Everyone tried it. And then, kids went to sleep or went to play with something else, and the evil pirate came. He fetched the robot, he hid it in his cave, and when the kids came and figured out that something went wrong, for sure they went to rescue the robot. But it wasn't so easy. The pirate said that at first you would need to implement the programming tasks which I gave you, and if I like how you work, then I shall give you the robot back. Everyone was very involved at this stage, and everyone wanted to do the tasks. They wanted to touch the robot again and to feel something new. So the pirate, there are several features of the robot you can see. Like at first, it was the standard movement task. So pirate would ask the robot to move to him, then to turn around as if that was a dog, which was going around the pirate, and to bark. That was good enough for the little kids. And everyone, if you have one kid, that is very easy. So your kid does the stuff. If you have 2 kids, it's also good because they have the competition. If you have multiple kids, in these kinds of tasks, everyone has a chance to try how it works. So then there was a task on sensors. So the pirate wanted to show how evil he is. And it's also good when you have good and evil in your story if you work with little kids. And the pirate pretended that he wants to show how he would treat the people who would come close to his cave. So he would hold this robot in his hand, and then this robot will fall. During falling, it will scream. And when it hits the hand or a sand, it makes a splash sound, as if that was a person who was diving or not, who was thrown from the rock to the sea. So everyone would be afraid and stay away from the cave. That was funny, and the emotions the kid experienced, they had made also kids willing to do the lesson. And the third task was a bit calm. So the robot was moving from one side to another, changing color from white to green to blue, which was a moon that reminded the pirate how it was in his young years. The pirate came down, he went to sleep, and the kids took the robot, took the treasure of the pirate, and ran away, leaving him a little candy, because they liked the time. So this lesson was really cool because everyone was involved, because kids imagined themselves, because we had the costumes. And here is a little part of the lesson. The robot came to the pirate and asked to give the stickers. So that was one idea. Another idea what you can do, like it doesn't matter if you have one kid or you have multiple kids. So that was a Harry Potter lesson. What you can do is to associate the lessons that you give with something that kids already know, and to make them imagine that they are part of the story. Harry Potter has many series, so if you want to have many lessons with your kid, you can pretend that you are playing this Harry Potter. Kids came to the lesson, and at first they were given the ticket to Hogwarts. Hogwarts was the place where they haven't been. There was a carpet and there were the beanbags. So it was fun to stay around, and there was lots of place to work with the robot. Then there was a tricky time. Kids had to be classified into two teams. There was a Slytherin and Gryffindor. The enchantress, she met them, put a hat on each kid, one at a time, and then gave the robot. We shall actually try it soon. So when shaking the robot, you're classified, either you're, let's say, good or bad. Then it was already funny part, and afterwards the introduction to what the robot can do was given, and we started the tournament. So there were two teams, and one team would give a task to another team. And the task shouldn't be hard, because if the team cannot do it, the first team would have to accomplish it. And by doing these tasks, kids realized how the robot works and how to work with it. Afterwards, that was actually every team would gain the point for what it did good, and they received the Harry Potter candies. Do you know what this stuff is? Yeah, so some candy can be tasting very good, like banana or something. Another candy would be like dirty socks. And afterwards, we decided to do the Quidditch Cup. So when the kids already knew what they are up to, they would write one big program which actually was similar to hot potatoes. Like you would throw the ball and it will become either green if everything is good, or red and tremble if you have to leave the game. And kids were standing in the circle and playing one by one. And what was exciting is that, first of all, they did the program by themselves, and then they experienced it. So for little kids, it is super important when you have this physical contact. And that's why you start believing in programming much better. You understand that you actually have the powers. The game was super interesting to them, and they even stayed after the lesson. That's why they were very willing to come on the next lesson. And now, let's check what I'm saying. I will need 4 volunteers, and we shall try to program this robot to do something. So we shall pretend we're little kids and we shall see how the programming works. Who would like to come to try it? Don't be afraid. Go ahead. I need 2 more people. It will be teamwork, it will be pair work, so don't worry. Yeah, come. That's great. So what we shall be doing will be the car. Who likes the cars? Yeah, some of you do. That's great. So at first, probably what we shall need is to give color to our car. And I shall tell you how it works. The car will be the robot. And here, guys, here you are the robot. And how you program this thing is you can use the computer or the phone, because you would need Bluetooth to connect to the robot. So there is a do program, and we shall be doing it together on computer. And for you guys, there will be this kind of problem. So, but at first, what you will have to be done, you will be divided into teams. And remember, I said there were 2 teams, Gryffindor and Slytherin. So let's check who of you belongs where. Unfortunately, I don't have a hat with me, but let's pretend. Connecting. Here it shines, the magic starts happening. Try to shake it. Yes. Shake better.
Slytherin.
You're Slytherin. Good job. Shake it.
Slytherin. Slytherin.
Yes, guys, you're the good ones.
Gryffindor. Slytherin.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Gryffindor.
It is amazing. It was randomizer, but it just you felt where you belong. So that's why you stood together. Okay, so now we know you're separated, you're divided, and the competition begins. Now you have to write the program, and here you are. This is where your environment, your IntelliJ idea. Like, you can decide who will start first. So I will, what?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. That's a nice response. Okay, so I will be showing on the screen what you are to do, and actually I will be giving the tasks so you can do with me in parallel, and everyone will see on the screen what's going on. So what we have is the Spheroid program, and what they are doing is they are creating the new program. Here it is. We are going to use the BB-8 robot. Yes. And see that there are several versions. You could draw, you could do the blocks, or you can write the JavaScript. That's for the older kids. And at first, the task was to do the color. So I will tell you a little introduction. If some of you tried to do Scratch, that is great, because this language is very similar to Scratch. This is block programming, where you would pull the block which belongs to different categories. Guys, I would like to ask you to stand a little bit aside so there is no shadow on the screen. So there are movements. They probably will need movements because we deal with the car. Then there are lights, and this is what they can start from. The lights, because the car needs a color. What's your favorite color? Guys, what's your favorite color? Yeah, so this is how the developers start. Something went wrong, but it works on my side.
I exited the program.
Yes, here we are. Let's start all over again. So we shall need the color, and there is the main lead. You shall pull it and pick what's your favorite color. Let's say my color is what, pink, or let it be. And what you are to do is also pick the color and make your car colorful. How is it going? Is it going?
Yeah.
And now green. Okay. Pick the color. Good. The girls, they always pick many colors. So good.
Now we need to press start.
Yes. And now press start. Yeah. They started the car and it is still green. This is good. Yes. Now pass the phone to the other team. Let's see how the Slytherin works. And now what we need to do is actually to move the car. The purpose of the car is to move. So guys, your turn is to go to the movements, then roll your car for, let's say, 3 seconds. And don't forget to set the speed, because if there is no speed, then it won't be rolling. Duration, then the speed, and then angle 0 is fine, but you could choose to turn. Meanwhile, they are doing this stuff, so I'll tell you about the sounds. Soon we shall use them because the car will be making sounds. And there are also the controls to do the to do the cycles, to do the if statements, etc. So how is it going with you?
Что мы должны были сделать? Ну, выбрать синий. Добавить.
Oh, it was about the car to move, but they decided that they prefer the blue car. They don't want to work with the green car. Okay, so it was to the movements and then to roll. Go ahead. So this is the developers. At first, you would say that the task is this, and the developer comes to the code. He sees that it is not refactored and he cannot work. So at first, he refactors the code, which takes actually the time of the task. So we can see that this process is ongoing with everyone. Yeah, we said the 3 seconds. 3 will be good. Great. Now let's put the car on the carpet, just to be sure it doesn't fall, and start it. Probably you need to buy a car with small powers. Like this is just the car moved by horses, probably by one horse. You need more horses. So if you put more powers, it will move better. Okay, so the car is moving, not great, but still it does. And what we know about the good drivers is that they actually determine how good is the car by the sound it makes. So at first, we shall set up the sound of the starting engine. I will go to the sounds, will pull it before the car starts, and we'll pick that it is mechanical, and it will be the engine start. Engine start. Yes. The sound comes from the computer or from the phone, so we need to check that the sound of the phone is good enough. So yeah, again, this is how developers hear what the task is. Yes, I guess this is soon as a buffalo who is so willing to see his friend that he doesn't want to move further.
Program already crashed.
It doesn't. It haven't crashed, but let's do the powers again. The power.
The sound is from here, not there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's good. Then the team lead came and he had realized that he was the one to fix the problem with moving. So no hope for developers. Like they did something, but it should be fixed. Okay, good guys. And now let's, like what you can see is it was waiting. But now I want to have the sound while the car will be moving. So give the phone to the other team. It's their turn. And they will also try how the sounds work. So I shall pull the block again before the car starts moving. We'll go to mechanical and we'll choose the sound of going car. Engine drive by. Yes. And then I shall change weight because the car has started like we waited. And the sound will continue while the car is rolling. This is asynchronous programming with JavaScript. It is possible. And if you would like to check the code, it will be, you will see the async before the functions. And actually it was fun. I tried to do the same program, well, not actually the same, it's a different program, but also using some asynchronous functions with all the kids. And we were thinking which function should be asynchronous and which shouldn't. And it was amazing that they answered correctly from the first time. So as long as you explain nicely what it is, then kids will be very responsive. So let's see how it is going in our production.
Function on driving is
We'll need to go to the sounds and play and pull the play
choose.
sound. Pull it. There is no need for a sync because it is already implemented for you. Okay, so they did something. Let's check how it works. It seems they have decided they are on the stage with Buffalo. And the applause. Yes. And the task actually was, remember guys, I was speaking about the Synchronous. So the other team, they decided just to fetch the phone. And probably guys, you shall be able to fix it because we need the sound during the car is going. But what happens is we have it after. The sound were cool. I don't know how they selected the good ones from the first time. It just like when spring comes, the developer starts thinking about different stuff. And so seeing the tasks changes. Yeah? So do you need any help from the team lead?
it's all good.
Do we need to turn it before we start, or it just starts going this way?
You need just to put him a little further. Yes. Change weight for continue and maybe the sound, I don't know. But if you like it, let's leave it. Actually, what is going on is that they can see what is on the screen. They can just repeat it. But yeah, their task is to do it by themselves. And they do their best. I'm really happy to have these volunteers. But it is not very easy from the first time. So, okay, leave the sound. It was in machinery. But again, we don't have the sound while the car is moving.
But it is,
It
it
was.
is continue.
They went.
Oh, guys, you have removed the previous sound. Now the engine doesn't start. So when you refactor, make sure you have the tests. You could write a book, not like it's not about reading Martin Fowler to understand how refactoring should work. It's just about watching little kids program. Okay, guys,
I'm almost ready. I had something.
yeah, you have the rolling sound. The rolling sound is good. Yes, yes. Start it. Okay. Let's say it's good. Like the sound was very short, but let's say it's good. For the first sprint, it will fit. So what will be going on next is we need to do something serious. You remember that first guys wanted the green car and the second guys wanted the blue car. What we shall do is we shall make a button where they will be able to choose which color of the car they want when they sit down. It's like the driver would choose the position of the seat. So what you have to do, please watch the screen just to be sure you do it right. So you would have to go to the variables and create a variable. Let's call it what? The color picker, color button, but you can call it whatever. Yeah, it will be the number. Let's limit to 1 or 2, because even the cool cars, they have just 2 positions. It's not used to having many friends driving the same car. So we set the color button to 0 or to 1, and then we go, so guys, create the variable. That will be your task. Number. We need number, like 1 or 2 or 0 or 1, like every cool car has. And so what you guys will be doing, which will be the next step, would be to make the control so that the button works. If we have, let's say 0, then the car will be, so make sure to move all the blocks on its place. So we need the condition, and now we need to see the exact logic. For the logic, we shall go to controls, or to comparators. Yes, and there is one with the equal sign. And here, the left side would be with our variable, so the color button. So if the color button is equal to 0, it will be green. But if it is equal to not 0, because there are no other buttons, we don't need other logic, we shall say that it will be blue. So this is the program we expect to have. This is complicated logic. You saw how it worked with a bit easier stuff. Yeah, but guys, you really are doing great. Thank you.
Yes, well,
Now you see the emotions when it's pair programming. They are so involved.
how to undo?
Oh, you took a lot on your side. You decided to do everything. So what actually they decided to do is to do the all if block and now put the blue color which you like and let the other guys put the green color. When you start doing the feature, you want to do everything. It's like you cannot give the other part to another person because you know you can do that. Why shall you share? What are you searching for?
Equal.
Yeah. and they are on the stage of doing the equal block, and the variable is called.
Whatever.
It's whatever variable. Then you will refactor.
Never.
Your friends will refactor. Once, like we were having this demo, and people called variable like blah, blah, blah. And they, for some reason, created two variables, probably because there were two people working on the phone. And so when we started, when we passed the phone to the other team, it was that they didn't realize which variable they should pick because there were so many. And for sure, they didn't pick the variable with a strange name. They took something normal, and it didn't work at all. And it was not so easy to figure out because you don't have the list of variables. They are just hidden in the very end of the application. Like you shall scroll to the very end, and only there you shall see which variables you have. Yes. Okay, so I see that you decided to pick the green color. I thought you liked the, the blue one. They decided it's better just to go with what there is than to change anything. Good job. And now make if the color is 1, make it blue. Yes, we are almost done with our car. It seems we are near with the release. So let's see what we have in the very end. And meanwhile, while they are working, I will tell you what else you can do with this robot. There are actually a big site made for the Sphero robots. And why it is good to use them is because you will have, let's say, support. Like you will have Stack Overflow for these robots. And there are so many ideas of how to implement anything. Like, for example, they propose to learn physics with little kids by using the robot. It can swim, it can fall and not break if it doesn't fall on very hard place. And what, for example, they could propose is to do the carriage and check which materials would stay on the water or which will flood with time. And so kid will be able to work with his own hands and still do the programming with the robot. So it's combination of everything. And I guess, I'm not advertising, but there are actually many robots on the market, and this one has discount from not that long ago. So if you plan to work with a kid, it is a nice idea. Now let's see what's the demo version for the production. Started, and it was. Yes, it's going. It's still green, and I guess that's the main thing. And can you easily change the color for the blue one? Yes, she just presses the button, and the car is blue. Okay, that's great. Congratulations. Guys, you did very great. I will give you little presents afterwards. Can a BB-8? Yeah. I will give you to play with BB-8 afterwards. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now you see how it works. It's not so hard to do the programming with your kid. It's funny. So this is for the time when your kids are little. And to sum it up, how you do a lesson which is like a fairy tale is you have an attractive idea, you have the interesting programming tasks which are relevant to the idea which you have, and important is to change the states. And when you have the game, it's actually easy. You don't need to change your own mindset. It's that the state of the kid will be changed by himself. So at first he programs, then he sees how the program works. For sure, he can go to do the tea, he can play some concentration lessons, to play with the hands or something. And then try to make a lesson teach something good, because this is our future generation. And let's speak about the kids who are a bit older. It's always fun to have a robot, but it's not always applicable. So what you can do is simply to use Scratch or some other programming language like Python, where it will be visual effect, because kids at this age care a lot still about seeing what they do. Do you know what is the most successful, the most happy profession by statistics? The most happy profession. Any ideas? Teacher? Yes, I'm happy. But there are more happy ones, to be honest. No other versions?
I know. Park tester, someone who takes the rides.
Oh, park tester. Oh. Yeah, but I guess it won't be so interesting after you get used to these roller coasters. So I will tell you it is something different, and you won't believe me. So this is the hairdresser and the nail maker. Any ideas why?
They can speak while they make.
Yeah, but it's bad if they're introverts. So the reason why these professions are the most successful, happy, is because they do the beautiful stuff and they see the result at once. So the person came, he wasn't so beautiful as she, and then they see how the person became much more beautiful because of the result of their job. And so what you need to make with kids is to have this result come to the kids' minds at once. So try to make active games with them. Try to make little conversations to pull their attraction. And also try to show them how things really work. Because at this age, when they are 10, when they are starting being teenagers, 10, 12, they want to see what people are about and how parents work. So what we decided to do is to make a real-world project. We had a customer who has sent a letter telling the specification of the game. And he wasn't specific about some ideas. He just said that I want the game to have different levels. I want it to be interesting, new, etc. So we sat at the big table and we had the brainstorming. Kids would would throw the ideas how they imagine the game. And actually, I learned something new because I'm not a real game player currently. And when we had enough of these ideas, we divided kids into two groups. One would be responsible for the main character, and another group would be doing the scenery. It wasn't hard to find the willing ones, because when kids are interested, they are so honest. It's actually the most important what I like in teaching kids, is because you get the feedback at once. If they like your lesson, they will be active, they will be doing it. If they don't like, they will be just dull and you won't get a lot from them. So we had this division into two groups. And at first we decided to do the project like one person will be sitting at the computer and others will be watching and correcting him. So that kids would get an idea how they should be programming. We did like 2 parts separately, and the most fun part was how these 2 parts integrated. The integration was done by tutors, but we changed nothing. We just started the project as it was. And it happened that it wasn't completely corresponding. The 2 parts were done a bit differently. For example, the character was so big that other details on the scenery wouldn't be seen. And we wanted the character to grow with time. So we had to do some changes. And when the kids saw that their little part and the part of the teammates, it made a big project, they got excited and they gave ideas how to do better and what else we could add to our game. And game started to be really interesting. So the next time, what we did is everyone was doing the feature which he wanted. We had this list, and so they had their own tasks, and the tutors were merging. Why tutors were merging was because it is not really interesting. What you can do is give the interesting part to the kid because you want to involve him. But the dull part, at first, you can do it by yourself because that can demotivate if something goes wrong. And all in all, this was our tree. This is our Git. And our Nimbo cat, he can gain lives. He has 9 lives as standard cat has. He flies in the sky. He sees the meteorites and can drink milk, which for some reason flows in the sky. For sure, there are also scores. Because if there is no score, there is no reason to compete. And score makes kids willing to play this game. And when you play what you created, it is really like this is like looking on the new headdress which the hairmaker did. So then they were enjoying their time. And now let's speak about a bit older kids. At this age, they become really hard because they're teenagers. They already have their own wishes, and at this time, they want to show who they really are. They want to go against the general flow and want to show their specialty. The good thing is that they can listen for a long time and can understand. It lasts till 40 minutes. So as long as you're an interesting teacher, they will continue asking questions and doing the stuff which you propose them. Another thing is that they won't just believe it. The lessons about fairy tales and everything, it won't work anymore because they say that there is no Santa Claus. What are you speaking with me about? So what we have been trying to do with them was another series of Star Wars. Because kids at this age are already interested in what adults are interested, and so they would already know, and another series would be a kind of interesting to them. But the problem was that part of the group was interested, and another part was sitting in their computers and doing their homework or doing something else. So you cannot expect that you'll interest completely all kids. So if it is not the case, then don't worry, but just try to involve everyone as much as you can. And also, what they like is to show how creative they are. So try to make every task special and not just say that you are to do this and you're to do that. Try to ask what they want and how they want it. Like if they want buffaloes, then let it be buffaloes in the arena, not the car. But still, the task of the programming will be the same. And some general advice, how to make your lesson special and memorable. So what we were doing is we have came up with special names. And when you say your name, it has to make the kid willing to say his own name and to say what's his interest. So if you say it in the form so that it makes the person open, For example, you can modify it to Sandra the Perfect or Sandra the Princess or anything. Then the kid will also add the part to his name and will already tell that I like, let's say, skin. That's why I will be Josh the Skinner or something. Then what is very important is that you stay at the same level with your kid. If those are little, or even if they are teenagers, it is very important so that you're not standing like this is a kid who is sitting, and you are standing and saying, oh, "Okay, I see there is an issue in your code. Please correct it." It will be as if you are a big boss who will come and check and say that something is wrong. But try to sit in the next chair to the kid. Try to just talk with him and be like a peer. In that case, kid will treat you like a friend and will trust you the thoughts he has and will share the ideas of the programming, what he wants to develop. And you will encourage him to not stop on the lesson but go home and continue doing the project and to make it special. Another issue which we had with some kids which were little, was that they were making mess. Like they were eating cookies, they were doing it at the keyboard, and it wasn't working well. So sometimes what you can do is to pretend that the kid is not the one who does bad stuff. It won't work for all kids, but for some kids who are really shy, it can work. So you will say, it wasn't you who did the mess. It was like the teddy bear who sits nearby. But let's clean it together. Or please try to clean it because it wasn't you who did the mistake. It was him. But we have to fix it. So try to concentrate their mind on what has to be done, but not on the one who is guilty. And another thing is try to make an intrigue till the end of the lesson, because then kids will be concentrated and they will try to catch every word that you say and think that it is valuable. So in the end of the lesson, they will be able to respond the question correctly. What the costumes can help make some tradition when kids come, which is, for example, you can hit your fists like this, you can high five when you come, or you can make little dance. And if you do so, it will mean that there is this special time of you being together, of you passing the knowledge begins. And this makes kids also feel that the atmosphere of the lesson. We spoke a lot about playing games with the kids, which is always good even if they're adults. And try to conduct a lesson in an unusual place. There is always a way how to connect the programming with real world. And sometimes you could go to a museum and do the lesson there if the lesson will be happening on the phone. And on the nature, it's always good. But still, there is a warning to you, like for sure you will be teaching kids. And so what you have to realize is that whatever you plan, it probably won't work. And this is the fact. Because you can plan so much stuff, but be sure that the kid will change it and be ready to these changes. And what is good, what is awesome, is that these changes, they make you a more flexible person. And you will get happy because you handle the situation. And just when you do the lesson, try to make a success story. Again, to have this effect of shiny nails after you've been to the procedure, even if it didn't work well from the first time, try to help kid till the point the project is very beautiful and great. And to make the conclusion of the talk. So start the lesson when the kids are not younger than 7. Try to make lessons very special and be sure that it is only your imagination that can make the lesson great. And now let's come back to the story with the little boy. So are there any versions how you can make them both happy? What's that? Feed them. Oh no, it's very problem with kids. Sometimes they don't want to eat and like they will cry. They say, no, I want a doggy. I want to have to hold the leash. Roller skates. I guess you won't be happy. Like probably kid will be happy, dog, I don't know, but you won't be happy for sure because like everything will crumble. Any other ideas? What's that? Call the dog. Yes, the dog runs, the boy falls. Cut the leash. The boy cries because, oh my God, I don't control the dog, and the dog runs away. You don't see him ever. Other ideas?
Multiple dogs.
Yes, that will keep the dog for some time together with multiple dogs. But what if the boy pulls the dog and he doesn't go? And like it won't last for ages. Leash for the kid. Yes, that is a very good idea. Like actually, when I was little, my mom had a leash for me. It was like a Gillette, and she would hold me and I would walk. This is how you teach kids to walk when it's outside. So yes, this is a very nice idea. But that involves another thing. Like you would have to get this another leash. And what if boy doesn't want to have it? First, it was like a problem. You started having a horse, there is much bigger problem. You sell a horse and you feel released. There is not a big problem, just a little one, which is not already a problem. Yes, so just agree that you can't make them both happy. And this is a good idea, but still, let's try. So what I have done is I took the leash from the middle. So actually, I control the dog, and I control the boy. And the boy doesn't understand yet that he actually doesn't control the dog anymore. I make him feel that he does, because sometimes I pull the leash when it's needed. And so everyone is happy. Just take it in the middle, and it will be fixed. Okay, thank you guys a lot for being here. I hope that you will have great lessons with your kids, maybe with a group of kids, and hope it helps you. So in case you'd like to contact me, here are the ways you can find me. And I'm available now, so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.